So part 3 of the crankshaft pinning job for the Dodge Viper. As is usually the case when you do projects like this, your sequence of operations, your planned sequence tends to change as the job actually progresses because you realize certain things along the way. So my original plan was to mount the balancer onto the balancer hub, then put that on the crankshaft snout. But I had forgotten that the ATI balancer has it's a tighter fit to the crankshaft snout than the stock harmonic balancer. So I forget the exact numbers, but the inner diameter here for the stock harmonic balancer is actually a little bit larger. I think it's like 36 or 37 millimeters compared to the inner diameter on the ATI balancer hub. I think that's around like just under 35 millimeters. And then the outer diameter of the crankshaft snout itself is also about 37 or 36, 37 millimeters. So the stock unit just slides right onto the crankshaft snout, which probably also explains why when that crankshaft bolt comes loose, this thing just spins on the crankshaft snout, right? It's not enough friction actually holding this against the crankshaft. With the ATI unit, that's not exactly the case. So you can't just slide that harmonic balancer on there. You have to use a balancer installation kit, which I have. So as you can see here, this right here is the hub for the harmonic balancer. Then all this stuff here is the installation tool for the harmonic balancer onto the crankshaft. I'm waiting on a 27 millimeter wrench to come in so I can apply it to this sort of bolt right here to start mounting this. And also I'm leaving for the Vintage Off-Road Nationals tomorrow, so I won't be able to get to this until next week. But I wanted to try to get as much done today as I could before I leave tomorrow. So anyway, this is on and just waiting to get tightened down, which will hopefully, if I don't run into any snags, should just press this in. Okay. Hopefully that'll do fine. I've read of other cases where people have taken that hub and put it in an oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for a while to heat it up. But then you got to wear like oven mitts or something to mount it onto the crankshaft snout. The idea being is you heat it up, the metal expands, and it'll expand just enough for that hub to slide right on. And then as it cools down, it'll tighten up against the snout. I'd rather do it at room temperature if I could. So I'm going to try it this way. Hopefully it'll work fine. And I figured while I'm at it, I might as well also do the power steering pulley and the power steering bracket. Part of the reason for that is because I already have the IPSCO pulley and bracket that I ordered some weeks ago. My original plan before I had this crankshaft pulley problem was to do that job in the winter sometime. But since I'm in here already, I already have the serpentine belt off. I might as well do the pulley, the power steering sort of upgrades now. And the other benefit of this is with this power steering unit off to the side, it gives me more clearance to get to this mounting kit here. So it should also make this sort of crankshaft job easier as far as mounting the hub, mounting the balancer, doing all the pinning, the rest of the pinning, drilling and everything. So I have more space, okay? So hopefully that'll make things a bit easier. What I did here, as you can see, I've already replaced the power steering mounting bracket with the IPSCO billet part. I took the power steering pulley off of the pump here. That was a royal pain in the ass, even with the correct tools. So there's a pulley puller kit, forget the exact name, but essentially, actually, let's just go get it. That's this thing right here. This is the OEM, pulley puller and installer kit. So you can get this from Amazon for like, I don't know, $30 or so. It's not that much money. So you use this part here and these parts here, and This bolt here is, I think, a 21 millimeter. I had to use what the heck was it, like vice grips, because I don't have a 21 millimeter wrench for this. I only have 21 millimeter sockets. And then this bolt here is a 16 millimeter. So basically you're cranking those against each other and using the torque to pull this pulley off of the shaft that is mounted on. It's a press fit. And I had to use so much torque, I had to basically have one socket wrench on the outside, right? So this guy here, and then I had the vice grips here, and I had pipes attached to the end of those to give me leverage. So I'm pulling on one pipe and pushing on the other pipe, and it just helps to have a ratchet on the outside here, so you don't have to like take the wrench off, reset it, and redo it. The problem is ratchets can only take so much torque. So I was applying so much torque through this thing that I ended up, it hasn't completely busted this ratchet, but it has sort of popped a few times and made it a little loose. So I ended up going to one of my older ratchets that's in here. This thing was already busted. This is like super loose. So I figured, well, if I'm going to beat something up, I might as well just beat this one up further. And, you know, I try to preserve this one as much as possible because this is brand new. So anyway, finally this pulley came off. It's in very good condition. I mean, this is a low mile car. It's only 13,000 miles, but it's a 23-year-old car. So even though this is a low mile pulley, it's still also kind of old. So I figured better to sort of do this job now while I can, while I'm, you know, inside the engine bay anyway. And then the bracket itself, also in very good condition. This must be magnesium. This is extremely light, very light. It kind of makes me wonder why they would spend money, Chrysler would spend money on a magnesium part for this, something that's arguably weaker, when aluminum, I don't know if aluminum would be cheaper, but they could have made it out of steel, right? This thing here, and save some money, and spent the money instead on keying the crankshaft. That would have been a smart move. Yeah, so anyway, this is kind of where it is. My plan is to mount this, and then once that's mounted, I can put the pinning jig back onto the balancer hub, finish the drilling job onto the crankshaft snout, clean all of that up, take the jig off, put the harmonic balancer, the second, sort of the outer piece, onto this hub, screw all that together, and then after that, I would have to mount the crankshaft bolt, 250 pound-feet of torque. Then after that, I would mount the crankshaft pulley. Then after that, I would put on the power steering pulley, mount that, and then the serpentine belt, and then I should be good to go. So that is the provisional sequence of operations going forward. So yeah, that's it for now. Thanks for watching.